سلام بچه‌ها، حالتون چطوره؟ خیلی خوش اومدید به قسمت سوم کارتون های داستان های واقعی. سعی میکنم که بیشتر ویدیو رو از این بذارم و خیلی ویدیوهای خفنیه. حتما لایک، سابسکرایب، کامنت هیچ وقت فراموشتون نشه و بی معطلی بریم سراغ ویدیو.
Let me tell you about the night my life changed forever.
بذارید از شب براتون تعریف کنم که فکر کردم میخوام ببرم شبی که میخوام بمیرم و میخوام خودم چی بشم. یه پدر و مادرم واسه آخر هفته رفته بودن مسافرت. یه دوستای صمیمی اومده بودیم داخل خونه که جخ پارتی بگیریم. نه یکی نگفت، شرمنده. و صدا رو کم کرد.
I'm in the mood for a scare. Sounds like a good idea. David agreed.
میگه که داستان ترسناک تعریف کنیم تو این جمع میچسبه.
I have one. I volunteered. But I don't know if I should tell it. Come on.
یکی داوطلب میشه که حرف بزنه.
Okay. I said.
گفت میگه باشه این میخواد حرف بزنه.
story I heard once. It all happened many years ago. There was a man who had a 7-year-old son.
یه مردی که پسر 7 ساله داشته و همسرش بدون پسری که در روستا زندگی میکرد جونش از دست داد.
One day, the father came home from work, and he was horrified to find that his house was on fire.
یه خونش در آتش سوزی بود و وحشت زده شد. به فکر پسر کوچیکش بود که داخل خونه مونده بوده. یه داخل خونه رفت که تا بیچاره نجات بده. یه رفت سر طرف اتاق خوابش که ببینه چیزی میشه، یه چیزا نجاتش بده. در رو با قدرت میکوبید که میگه میخواست اونو بشکنه. میگه اما فایده ای نداشت. میگه صدای فریاد پسرش رو شنید. یه اون با عصبانیت فریاد داشت گریه میکرد. ناامید شده بود که دیگه گفتش اون الان سوخته. بیا اون هرگز نتونست در رو باز کنه. بعد میگه که تسلیم چیز شد و ناامید شد. بیا این ترسناک نبود که اسکول. حالا بیا من یه داستان تعریف کنم بشوشی سرجت. میگه آخر داستان رو من نخواستم بهشون بگم که یه چه اتفاقی افتاده. داستانش ادامه داشته.
Well, I'd rather not say the exact words. But basically, if you call him and tell him that everything is burning and ask him to come and help you, his ghost will appear at your door and take you away. David looked at me thoughtfully.
Oh.
Have you ever tried it? He asked.
میگه که مثلا زمانی که اون اتفاق افتاده، میگه یه جریان خیلی ترسناک اتفاق افتاده که هر کس اگه زنگ بزنه و اینجور چیزا نمیدونم چی میاد اون خودشو میاد ناپدید میکنه اون شخصی که زنگ زده و اینجور چیزا. همچین حرفی. میگه تا حالا اونو امتحان کردید؟ میگه نه. میگه میترسم امتحانش کنم.
I tensed up. I had no desire to summon a ghost, and I was already sorry I had said anything about the legend. David smiled. Yeah, why not? He said. I was going to tell them that I didn't want to do it, but they didn't give me a chance. Arnold put on a trembling voice to imitate the little boy and screamed, Daddy, Daddy, help me! The flames are all around me! I'm scared!
همون حرفی که چیز دارن مسخرش میکنن، فکر میکنن که الکی و شوخی اینجور چیزا.
Then he burst out laughing. I didn't crack a smile. But him?
میگه من میترسیدم. من مثل اینا نبودم که همچین فکری بکنم که این یه جور سرگرمیه و فکر کردم که یه چیز واقعیه.
His amusement, saying nothing. Arnold started screaming again, even louder this time. I'm burning, Daddy! I'm burning! Help!
میگه این بار دوباره بلندتر گفت.
It's not funny.
میگه این اصلا خنده‌دار نیست، کسخل. میاد میگیره دولت.
I was really
شرمنده
scared
بکش.
and I didn't want to hear him anymore.
رستم
What are you
منظور رو
afraid of?
دقیق‌تر
Arnold
برسونم.
laughed. Oh, come on. It's just a stupid story. That's all. Not even a good one. With a
میگه این یه
smirk, he
داستان
continued.
احمقانه است که
Daddy,
یه کسخلای
please
مثل
help
تو رو
me. The fire is burning me alive. I'm...
میگه داداش
All
بیا
of a sudden,
اوه،
there was a loud
اوه،
knock
اوه.
on the bedroom door.
میگه در یه دفعه با
Arnold stopped
ضربه
in
محکمی
mid-scream. We
اوه
all
اوه اوه
froze. Boom! Boom! We all looked at each
اوه
other.
اوه اوه.
None of us made a sound.
بعد دیگه کی در رو زد میگه
Boom! We almost jumped out of our
میگه
skin.
شاشیدیم تو خودمون قلبمون رفت زیر تخممون اومد بالای چشممون
What's that noise? Arnold exclaimed. If this is a
آرنولد
joke,
فریاد
it's
زد
really
گفت
not
گو
funny.
خوردم ناموسن
David.
گو خوردم
His
دیگه
face
سر
was white as a
زدن
sheet. The banging on the door continued. Then we heard a man screaming. Those horrible cries will remain forever etched
یه
in
دفعه
my
نمی‌دونم
memory.
یه مرد
I can
انگار
still hear
حامله
them
شده
now.
با فریاد
It
بلند
sounded
داره
like the
حرف
cry of
میزنه
a dying animal. It was
این که
inhumane
واقعی
and
نبود
infinitely sad. The banging against the door and that horrible scream continued relentlessly.
میگه
I
یارو
was
داشت همکنون
terrified
درد
and tried to
زایمان
hide
میکشید
behind
و
the
داد میزد
wardrobe. Arnold grabbed a chair and stood
چرا
poised
یارو
to
داشت
strike
همچین
anyone who
دادی
entered the
میزد
room. David curled up against the wall. Tears were streaming down his face. No, no, he cried. What is this? I'm scared.
میگه یه آدمی تو
Immediately, the
پشتمونه
screaming outside the door grew stronger, even more
حاجی
harrowing.
این دیگه
Even
صدای
more
چیز نیست
terrifying.
یه نفر دارن
The
میکنن
banging on
اینجا
the door grew louder. I thought it was going to fly off its hinges. Then panic seemed to overcome David. I can't take it anymore, he wailed. I've got to get out of here. With that, he ran to the
یه
window.
باید از
and
اینجا
opened
بریم
it.
شلوارا رو
No! I cried. Don't! Before I had time to finish my sentence, he jumped out the window. I heard him fall.
میگه پرید بیرون
For
و
a
به
brief
گاه رفت
moment, everything was silent. Then, I heard him cry out in pain. Ah! I fell! I'm hurt!
یه کمرم
My
به گاه رفت
back! Ah! I'm hurt!
خب اونجا
I ran to the window and looked
گوساله خب
out.
باز چی میری
David lay on the concrete downstairs, screaming in pain. The screaming coming from behind the door got even louder and more crazed.
بابا این صدای
The
چیز
banging
چیه
increased.
در میاری
I was going crazy. It was all a relentless nightmare, and David's screaming only added to the horror of the situation. Especially since Arnold and I were too scared to leave the room to help him. Then I smelled something. I hadn't noticed it at first, but now the air in the room was filled with an awful stench. It was suffocating.
میگه که
The smell of
میگه که اتاق یه بوی بدی میداد انگار یه نفر چسیده اینو که نگفت
Help
ولی
him.
میگه بوی
Then I
بدی میاد
smelled something. I hadn't noticed it at first, but now the air in the room was filled with an awful stench. It was suffocating. The smell of
یه
burning
بوی
flesh.
گوشت
It was
با یه بوی
unbearable.
گوشت داره
I turned
چیز
away from the
میشه
window and saw
ترکیب
Arnold
میشه هوای
standing
اتاق
motionless in the middle of the room.
میگه
His
آرنولد
eyes were
خواهی
wide,
کرده
and
بود و
he
یه
was
طرف
staring at
وایساده
the
بود
door, as if in a trance. Then he
چشمانش گوشاد شده بود
vomited
و
on
به
the
گاه
carpet.
رفته بود تخماش هم
The
درست
banging,
شده بود
the screaming, the shouting, the stench of burning flesh, and the sight of Arnold spewing was all too much for me. I began to throw up as well.
اوه
I leaned
میگه
back
چپک
against the wall as
زده
David
آرنولد
continued to howl outside, and the furious knocking on the door continued. Then, I had an idea. Maybe David's cries outside were attracting the man outside the door. I closed the window. We sat on the floor with our
میگه
hands
در
over our
بستم
ears,
و نشستم
shaking in
زمین
terror as the cataclysmic blows against the door continued unabated, and the awful cries
Oy.
pierced our eardrums, and the
یه
burning
داشتیم
stench
گریه
mixed
میکردیم
with the
داشتیم دعای
smell of
کامل
our
میخوندیم که
vomit.
حاجت بگیریم
Gradually,
دیگه از این
the
گوها
screams
نمیخوریم
died
از این
down.
غلطه نمیکنیم
The smell
گاو یه
subsided,
غلط
and the
خر
banging on the
اومد
door grew
مسخره
weaker
کرده
and weaker, until finally everything
میگه در
was
کوبیده
silent.
میگه در
All we
زمان
could
دیگه
hear was
کوبیده
David's
شدن
muffled
در
cries of pain
ضعیفتر
through
شد
the
دیگه
closed
صدای
window. Arnold looked at me
صدای
and
کردن
asked
دیگه
me in a
نمی
low
اومد دیگه فکر
voice,
کنم یارو اومده بود دیگه
"What do we
چیزش
do
آبش
now? Maybe we should
No.
call the police," I
فقط
said, or the fire department.
یه زنگ بزنیم
Or-
نیرو انتظامی بیاد
I
ببینیم
don't
اینجا
know.
چه وضعشه زنگ
An
بزنیم
ambulance
بسی
to
زنگ
help
بزنیم
David.
118 زنگ بزنیم
"Where's your phone?" he asked. "Downstairs. Do you think it's gone?"
میگه تلفن کجاست میگه طبقه
"It's
پایینه
quiet," I replied
میگه من
hesitantly.
خواهی کردم نمیتونم برم
"That's right," he said. "We'll have to go down." "Well,
میگه
I'll
باید
go."
به آرامی پایین
Anyway,
بریم
it's
ببینیم
gone,
یواشکی بریم یارو
"I guess so," I said, with a smirk on his face.
میگه یه
He turned to me and
پوزخندی
said,
رو صورتش اومده
"It's
خرکش شد
crazy.
گفت
door was
خدا
open all the time.
گفتش این دفعه رو میبخشم حالا دیگه گوه نخور دفعه بعد دیگه ولی
But he didn't have time.
ای گفت روح احمق داداش دوباره الان میاد چوب تو آستین گردنشو گرفت
Grabbed Arnold around the neck.
گردنشو گرفت باریکلا دلم خنک شد
The arm was blackened and charred. I could smell the burning flesh.
گردنشو
Before I had
گرفت و
time to
کرد تو
react,
کوه
Arnold suddenly disappeared right before my
دلم
eyes.
خنک شد
Dragged through the doorway and whisked down the hall at an impossible speed. The door slammed shut with a deafening clatter. I got to my feet and ran to the door, but I didn't dare open it. I called Arnold's name again and
اما
again.
جرأت خواهی
There was no
نداشتم در باز
response.
کنم
I
ببینم
still
چی
couldn't bring
کجا
myself
رفت
to open the door. I was afraid that that charred man was still there. Nobody ever saw Arnold again.
دیگه میترسیدم فکر کردم همون مرد
My
سوخته
parents
اونجا
took me to
باشه
a psychiatrist. I never told her anything.
یه پدر مادر منو پیش روانپزشک
Not even
بردن
my parents. They would never
هیچ کس
believe me
آرنولد
anyway.
ندیده تا الان
David did the same. He spent a month in the hospital.
و بچه مرسی که ویدیو رو دیدید و تا آخر این ویدیو همراه ما بودید و حتما لایک سابسکرایب کامنت هیچ وقت فراموشتون نشه و کسچرهای دیگر بدرود.